Today we are going to learn about the Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire was founded by Chandragupta Maurya, with help from Chanakya, a Brahmin teacher at Taxila. The Mauryan Empire, which formed around 321 BCE and ended in 185 BCE. Before we learn about the Mauryan Empire, we should know about the Chanakya who caused it. Those who are walking on the path of success after facing difficult situations in their life, they know the name of Chanakya very well. The real name of Chanakya is Vishnugupta. He is also known as Kautilya. Chanakya was a great teacher, philosopher, economist, lawyer, prime minister and diplomat. His book Arthashastra laid the foundation of Indian politics and economics. Chanakya was born into a poor Brahmin family in 371 BC at Taxila. His father is Chanak and his mother Chaneshwari. In his childhood, Vedas, being the toughest scriptures to study, were completely studied and memorized by little Chanakya. He had a wisdom tooth. There was a belief that having a wisdom tooth is the sign of becoming the king. His mother once scared hearing an astrologer that he will grow up to become king. He will forget me after becoming king. Then Chanakya broke his wisdom teeth and promised his mother that, "Mother, you don't worry. I will take good care of you." Chanakya was educated at Taxila. He was not good looking. Everyone was joking about his broken teeth, black color and crooked legs. Therefore, there was always a flame of anger in his eyes. After completing his education, Chanakya began working as a teaching in nearby areas including Taxila, Nalanda. Chanakya firmly believed that a woman who is beautiful from body can only keep you happy for one night. But a woman who is beautiful from mind keeps you happy for a lifetime. So, Chanakya married a Brahmin girl named Yashodhara. She was also not beautiful like him. Her black color was become a reason of joke for dumb people. Once his wife went to a ceremony at her brother's house. Everyone made fun of Chanakya's poverty. Being unhappy with this, Chanakya decided to earn money. His wife advised him to meet King Dhanananda and get some money, a gift. Dhanananda was the emperor of Magadh Empire and the most powerful king in Indian subcontinent at that time. His kingdom was richest among all Indian subcontinent kingdoms and his army was strongest among other Indian kingdoms. But Dhanananda was a cruel and egoistic emperor. In those times Alexander the Great was attacking Asian kingdoms and defeating them one by one. The most powerful Persian Empire too was attacked by Alexander. Chanakya was a teacher in Takshashila who was worried about advancing Alexander's forces. He decided to ask help of Emperor Dhanananda to stop the advancing forces from conquering Indian subcontinent. He went to court of Dhanananda and requested him to unite in fight to defeat Alexander. But Dhanananda insulted Chanakya by looking at his ugly appearance and rejected his suggestions. Chanakya got angry and vowed to destroy the Nanda Empire. Dhanananda ordered to arrest him. But Chanakya escaped from there in the disguise. Chanakya befriended with Dhanananda's son, Pabbata. Chanakya escaped to forest with help of Pabbata. He was in search of a person who can replace Dhanananda. One day he saw a group of children playing. They were playing king game and the boy playing king's role was Chandragupta Maurya. Chanakya was very much impressed by the boy by the role he played in the game and the skills he showed. He decided to take the child with him. Chandragupta's original parents were killed by thieves and since then he was raised by a hunter family. Chanakya paid the hunter for the boy, assuring that he would take good care of the boy. Chanakya now had two options, Pabbata and Chandragupta Maurya. He wanted to test them to find out who is better. He gave both the boys an amulet with a woolen thread. One night while Chandragupta Maurya was sleeping, he asked Pabbata to remove the amulet from Chandragupta's neck without breaking it and without waking him up. Pabbata tried and failed. After some time, when Pabbata was sleeping, Chanakya asked Chandragupta to do the same with Pabbata. Chandragupta Maurya cut the head of Pabbata and took the amulet. Chanakya was proud of Chandragupta, who won the test he had placed. Chanakya gave him 7 years of rigorous military training. Under Chanakya guidance, Chandragupta became a capable warrior. Chanakya was keen in overthrowing the Nanda dynasty of Dhanananda and establishing the Maurya Empire. Hence Chandragupta formed a small army without much thought and attacked on Magadh, the capital of Nanda kingdom, with the army to defeat Dhanananda, but failed and ran away. One day Chanakya and Chandragupta were roaming in Magadh in disguise. They were then enlightened by a mother who was scolding her son. The mother was scolding to her son, who get burnt his hand by putting in the middle of the hot bread. If you put your hands directly between hot bread, then it will burn you. Isn't it? Why are you doing like stupid Chanakya, who instead of seizing the border territories, had directly attacked the capital and burned his hands? First eat the border of the bread, then put hand in the middle, then it will not burn. That mother was scolding her child like this. Chanakya and Chandragupta heard it secretly. They realized their mistake. He regretted that it was a big mistake to attack the capital Pataliputra without seizing the border first. Chanakya bowed to the mother, who enlightened him and went ahead. On the advice of Chanakya, Chandragupta attacked on the borders and started telling them under his control. Chandragupta trained the forest people who were roaming without jobs and included them in his army. When the army became competent in every way, Chanakya arranged all the necessary goods for the army. By doing this, Chanakya strengthened the army. Some of the smaller kings on the border disagreed to join Chandragupta's army. Chanakya killed such kings by poison girls. From a very early age, he had poisoned some girls with food and transformed them into poison girls. A kiss of poison girls was enough to kill the enemy mighty king. Furthermore, Chanakya took many such cunning moves and took control of all the border places under the leadership of Chandragupta. Thinking about the enemy in anger is of no avail. Chanakya thought calmly and devised a tactical strategy to overcome the enemy. Seeing the right time at the behest of Chanakya, Chandragupta attacked on Magadh's capital Pataliputra and killed Dhanananda. After his death, Chandragupta established the Maurya Empire by overthrowing the Nanda dynasty. In this way, Chanakya's dream of revenge on Dhanananda was also completed. Chanakya became the Prime Minister of Chandragupta when he became the Emperor of whole India. Chanakya created a competent cabinet for good governance. He gave separate ministries to all the ministers. He provided all possible facilities for the welfare of the citizens. Chanakya appointed female bodyguards to Chandragupta along with male bodyguards. Chandragupta Maurya was the first king to have female bodyguards in the history. According to legend, Prime Minister Chanakya was concerned that Chandragupta might be poisoned by his enemies, and therefore started introducing small amounts of poison into the emperor's food in order to build up a tolerance. Chandragupta was unaware of this plan and shared some of his food with his wife Durdhara when she was pregnant with their first son. Durdhara died. But Chanakya rushed in and performed an emergency operation to remove the full-term baby. The infant Bindusara survived, but a bit of his mother's poisoned blood touched his forehead, leaving a blue bindu, the spot that inspired his name. Chandragupta Maurya became an emperor of Magadh in 313 BCE. After that he conquered almost entire India from Mysore and Tamil Nadu in south to Kashmir to Punjab in north. He conquered current Nepal and Bhutan too. In 305 BCE, Seleucus Nicator, the Greek king, also attacked Punjab in India after conquering Babylon and Persia. He was confronted by Emperor Chandragupta Maurya. They already had another war before to gain control of Indus Valley. Seleucus Nicator was defeated and had to make treaty with Chandragupta Maurya. As part of the treaty, Seleucus gave 4 provinces of Persia under Greeks to Chandragupta Maurya. That included present-day Herat, Kandahar, Balochistan and Kabul provinces. Seleucus married his elder daughter, Helena, to Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was 40 years old and Helena must have been teenage 15 to 17 years old during marriage. Chandragupta Maurya in return gave Seleucus Nicator 500 elephants and loads of gold, diamond and precious jewelry as gifts in return. A close relationship was thus formed between Greek and Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta and Helena had a son from their union. His name Justin. The empire built a strong economy from a solid infrastructure such as irrigation, temples, mines, and roads. Chandragupta developed an elaborate system of imperial administration. Most of the power was concentrated in his hands, and he was assisted in his duties by a council of ministers. Its administration was carried out by 6 committees with 5 members apiece. Some of the tasks entrusted to them included the maintenance of sanitation facilities, care of foreigners, birth and death registration, regulation of weights and measures. The state possessed a huge army. When he was in his 50s, Chandragupta became fascinated with Jainism, an extremely ascetic belief system. His guru was the Jain saint Bhadrabahu. In 298 BCE, the emperor announced his rule, handing over power to his son Bindusara. He then traveled south to a cave at Sarvabalagula, now in Karnataka. Helena stayed with Bindusara and in later years went to Greece and lived the rest of her life there. Her son Justin must have been a young kid when his father Chandragupta left to forest. Bindusara was 31 years of age when Chandragupta left to forest. Although Chandragupta had many wives and many sons, Bindusara was sole heir to the throne and he did not have any contenders. The crowning of Bindusara as emperor of Magadh was peaceful and none of his siblings or stepmothers opposed it. After Chandragupta, Bindusara became the new emperor of the Maurya Empire. Chanakya became prime minister for him also.